Sugiyama, which is in the East Bay. So all of my lifehood experiences have been in the nice little Bay Area bubble. My parents are white. My father is Portuguese and my mom is like a Euro mutt. And I grew up on a ranch.
First generation in this country, and I have two other sisters. One of them is 21, one's 14. And I'm Salvadoreña, so my family's from Central America, but I was born here in the States. But I definitely have true connections to all of my culture, and very proud of that too. But then also, being first generation is a whole nother pride as well. I identify as genderqueer, specifically meaning that some folks that might see me fully only lesbian or gay or want me to fit some kind of in-between femme or butch, but I'm just a combination of everything. But like for my parents, the easiest way to describe it to them is, oh, well, I'm gay, I'm lesbian, you know? Genderqueer might just kind of throw them off a bit.
I would identify as pansexual. I used to, up until like 3 months ago or so, identify as bisexual, but that continues to, you know, feed the bipolar two genders stigma, and I don't agree with that. And I've dated somebody who is trans, and I think that, you know, we need to open it up. So I identify as pansexual, which basically means that you would date anyone across the board. You date a woman, you date a man, you date anybody who's trans, any possible identity-wise, I'm comfortable with dating. Yeah. So I believe more in the idea of dating an individual rather than a gender. I never even really thought of I never thought about a title or an identity or even the idea of like kissing a man versus a woman. Like, it just wasn't something that I dealt with growing up. So many people talk about like, I knew when I was 5 and I looked at the girls instead of the boys, but that wasn't me. I just kind of looked, I guess. I wasn't overly sexual.
I remember the first time I ever held hands with a girl was like in kindergarten, but I don't think there was any kind of real emotion. It was just, there was this comfortness with it. So as I matured in my age, I found to, you know, identify with either being genderqueer or being lesbian, feeling comfortable with that. And, you know, also not letting society push me down as much as it did to make me hetero or make me straight. Because I think I pretended for a long time to be straight and be heterosexual. But why pretend? Why not just be myself? So I came out when I was 14. And that was really, really difficult. But at the same time, I'm glad that I came out when I was 14. Because now things are so much more easier for me with my family. It took my family probably 6 years to deal with it. But I have a loving family. I have a wonderful girlfriend. And my parents are very supportive. And I've just been able to understand my own forms of oppressions with all the other forms of oppression.
The chance to know myself so well, because I've gone on so many protests and I've heard so many people's stories and heard everybody struggling through this. I feel like it involves a lot of personal reflection and questioning and just a real sense of like understanding yourself, at least for me. And I think that most people who don't have to question their sexuality don't have as much of an opportunity of like really appreciating what's around them and who they have.
You know, in our society, we're told that there's only heterosexual people, but in reality, there's all forms of sexualities. And being part of a spectrum that is very fluid and very queer, I get to be myself, and I get to also break, I think, a lot of gender norms in terms of what appearance may be for people. Because I think women or men should be able to either dress or be whoever they want to be, and that the clothing doesn't define your identity. I have straight parents, and they have a gay daughter, so I can still bring my partner into my home and bring my partner into my life, and we can all be respectful towards each other and still love each other. So that to me is a huge representation of family and caring and loving.